Joe 200. How are you guys doing? It's Valentine's week. Hopefully, you guys told your mom Happy Valentine's Day and any other loved one. This is Friday afterwards, so we're following up. It is the 16th and 2018. So, I know you guys aren't bio majors. Many of you are business majors, okay? But you have to consider when we start talking about healthcare and we start talking about diseases that affect many, many people in our country, you have to think about the economic fallout of this, okay? So knowledge in these factors is really, really important. In fact, if I were you guys, I don't know if you knew about it, but the U.S. Food and Drug Administration just approved a new blood test um, for detecting whether or not somebody has had a concussion. Okay, two molecules that it'll be a drug kit, and the company's not private yet. But believe me, when this company goes private, I would buy all their stock because they've been searching for a blood test for brain injury forever, and it's going to apply not only to concussive head injury, but someday I guarantee you it's going to apply to things like stroke and Alzheimer's disease. Okay, so I think this is going to be a big winner if you're looking to invest. Okay, alrighty. So we just got done with the cancer module, and we're right in the middle of the diabetes module. In again, being business majors, many of you, you have to consider the kind of our country's economic model. We're going to go over a lot of things about Medicare and health insurance and just kind of the moral and ethical considerations as well in terms of covering people that are suffering from different health conditions. Um, when we looked at the discussion and we talked about cancer, I talked about my wife Julia's situation. She's really sick right now, and yeah, one out of every three women in their life will get cancer. One out of every two men in their life will get cancer. So these are just kind of mind-blowing odds, and so continuing to put our resources as a country into doing research to come up with better strategies with fewer side effects to fight things like cancer are enormous. So consider that for you political science majors. And the new budget that has been put forth by the current president has asked for a 25% cut in funds to the National Cancer Institute that funds the research and development side of things that comes up with new strategies for cancer. So I would vote no on that. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So this week we're talking about another huge health issue. I'm going to go over here. Okay, and so we're looking at diabetes. Okay, and just follow the directions. Okay, and I want you to go to the website as indicated right here. I have a couple arrows, and I want you to review within this website. What is diabetes? What is the hemoglobin A1C test? What's that all about? This is when sugar actually coats the hemoglobin protein that's long-lived, so it's a much better readout than your fasting glucose or your glucose tolerance test. It's a much better readout. Okay. When you have diabetes, you damage blood vessels, and from the damage to the blood vessels, then you begin to damage the nerve endings. Many diabetics go blind, which is nerves. Okay, many diabetics have massive infections because of this poor circulation in their lower limbs. They also then don't sense pain, and so they cut themselves. It messes with wound healing. Um, Diabetes is a huge risk for developing atherosclerosis, heart disease, which will result in either the dying off of the heart, you can have a heart attack, stroke. All these things are interrelated. So I want you to kind of go through here and check them all out. Alrighty? Okay, watch the video as well. All right. As you're going through this, now is a good time to also to gather momentum, okay, in your thinking for the next critical thinking assignment, because what it does is a critical thinking assignment bridges the next three topics that we are covering in class, okay? So we're gonna look at diabetes, okay, as indicated right here, all right? Tells you what we want to do. We want to connect diabetes, vascular disease, okay, sorry, vascular disease, and Alzheimer's disease. Alrighty, they are all interrelated. Okay. Um, Type 2 diabetes is the one that is most common. It's with age. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune response of youth. Okay. Um, how does it cause atherosclerosis? Okay. When you're a diabetic, you don't absorb your glucose. Okay. Glucose gets really high. You candy coat proteins, and then this triggers a massive inflammatory response. Okay. Um, the unused glucose gets transported into fat cells in your tummy, and this elevated fat in your stomach causes insulin resistance, more inflammation, okay, and causes a generalized oxidized environment. All right, all this then leads to damage in your vasculature that causes the process of atherosclerosis that you're going to learn about, which is a caking of kind of fatty inflammatory material throughout all of your arteries, including the arteries going to your brain. All right, so I've really helped you out with this. When you look at this, don't forget to follow the directions, okay? All right, we want to know right here, what percentage of Alzheimer's patients also suffer from diabetes, okay? All right, that's key. We don't want it the opposite around or way around, and this is indicated right here in the directions. All righty, we want it this way. Okay, very, very cool. So we're in student view right now, so I'm showing you what's going on here with respect to that. So you don't see it right now, but when we go back into the next section, we'll have diabetic heart disease. You cannot see the quiz, but this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be reviewing diabetic heart disease and atherosclerosis. This happens. The atherosclerosis is the caking of plaque in your arteries that happens in the big arteries. The big ones going to your heart because that's where all the blood flows. The big ones going to your brain because that's where most of your blood flow goes. 20% of your blood flows to your brain, even though it's only about 2% of your total mass. Okay, and then a lot of blood flow goes to the kidneys because we're constantly filtering out all the garbage we produce all day long. We get a lot of kidney disease in people that have atherosclerosis, and they have to go, they'll blow out their kidneys, and then they're on dialysis the rest of their life, and they wait for a kidney transplant. Okay, so it's really, really important to avoid diabetes, and we do this through diet and exercise, and hopefully choose parents that aren't diabetic. If you have diabetic parents, you're genetically at super high risk. Okay, all right, and then if we look at the topic, then we go from there to Alzheimer's disease. And again, Alzheimer's is a major risk in terms. Diabetes is a major risk in terms of Alzheimer's disease. Okay, so this then takes us to our discussion. Okay, so we come over here, all right, and this is where you guys go in. And this week's discussion is all about body mass index. Okay, important because obesity is a major epidemic in privileged countries like our country, the United States. Okay, it's an industrialized nation type of disease, a disease of excess where there's too much consumption of calories and not enough exercise. Okay, and this condition of diabetes, okay, obesity, okay, they cause atherosclerosis in your arteries that causes them to get really stiff and decreases their volume that results in hypertension, okay, high blood pressure. It's a lot of your parents are probably taking medication for hypertension, okay, and this whole metabolic syndrome, okay, is clustered to cause all of these diseases that I was talking about of diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, stroke, and Alzheimer's disease. Okay, so have fun with this. Make sure. Hopefully, your body mass index is on the safe side. Do remember that it's just a fun measure to play with. It does not take into consideration if you're an athlete and you have big old thick bones and massive muscles. Okay, but nonetheless, it's a benchmark for doing analysis. Okay, alrighty, guys. So good luck with that. Again, prepare for the next critical thinking assignment and in reviewing the material. And we'll see you next time.